like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who could bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GTV Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop. Until you get your mouth on LDBC. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, no in y'all. Independence up with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yup, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
Man, salute to everybody tapping on there, man. Y'all press one if y'all can hear me in the comments, man. I got a mic check 1 2 1 2, man. If y'all can hear me, press one in the comment section, man. Salute to everybody that's tapped in, man. Shout out to I want to shout out to Myra for the donation and Cash App. Salute to you. Shout out to Rhonda Jones with the donation in the Cash App. I appreciate you. Also shout out to Brenda Brown with a donation in the Cash App. Salute to you. I appreciate all of y'all showing love. Every time I come back on, there's somebody showing love to the channel, man. I appreciate all of y'all who support what I do, man. Look, man, bro, this man got to be the dumbest criminal in the history of the world, bro. Sean Combs have to be the stupidest criminal known to mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, not only did this fool, after he got hit by the feds, I'm finna tell y'all about this. Not only did after this guy get hit by the feds, did he continue to do freak offs, that he continued to use drugs, that he continued to beat up on women after the Cassie video and all the other stuff, even though the girl did say she hit him first, he still beat the hell out of her, man, showed no restraint whatsoever. This dude's a damn fool, man. He's a damn fool. Ladies and gentlemen, Diddy's team now is coming out. The reason why they asked for a retrial so many times so far. Y'all press one if y'all can hear me again. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Yeah, y'all let me know, man. All right, y'all can hear me? Man, I'm finna show y'all something, man. Damn fool. Damn fool, bro. This dude gotta be the dumbest criminal in the history of America, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to show y'all is pure, unadulterated stupidity. First of all, it all makes sense now. After the raid went on, Diddy's son made a song. And that song Diddy's son made, Diddy's son rapped and talked about how the feds missed the other mansion. His son rapped about it. He rapped about it. In a song. Pure idiocy. Like the feds ain't watching. Let's forget that, though. After the raid, as I told y'all, this man was still freaking off. This is right before he knew he was going to go. It was going to arrest his ass. Still freaking off, still using drugs, and still about to do another freak off, and still putting his hands on women. Ladies and gentlemen, this fool, what you see on the screen right there, is from the government. And I want to show y'all Everybody's defending Diddy. I'm gonna show you how big of a damn fool this nigga is. Pure, unadulterated idiocy. Pure idiocy. Email to the Honorable Judge Aram Submaranian. And I seen somebody in the comments the other day say, oh man, I don't know why Diddy doesn't get this judge change. You know why he didn't get the judge change? Because he asked for this judge, Janet Jackass. Diddy's the one that appealed up and asked for this judge. He asked for this judge, so he's getting what he deserved. He asked for this shit. He the one asked for this judge. He appealed up after he got rejected bond by 2 different judges and appealed up to this 3rd judge, and now this is the judge that's on his case, and he got his ass stumped in the ground. United States versus Sean Combs. Dear Judge Submaranian, the government's filter team, Judge. I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see the stupidity all over this dude right here, Sean Diddy Combs. I want y'all to see this, because this don't get to no level of stupidity higher than what y'all seeing right here. The government's filter team respectfully submits this letter, and it's redacted right there. Then it says, which seeks the production of a cell phone belonging to Sean Diddy Combs, the defendant, known as device number 1. I told y'all the feds always got surprises. They always got surprises. The defendant refused to comply, blank, blank, on the ground that the messages on a second device, we'll call it device number 2, that alerted the case team to the existence of the device number 1 are protected by attorney-client privilege. Diddy is wrong. The defendant is wrong. They say, based on the filter team's review. Now, if you guys who don't know what the filter team is, this is the same thing that happened with Diddy when he was in jail and they had to raid. Guess what? The feds, they cannot go through your stuff. The feds, unless a filter team looks at it first. The job of the filter team is to determine which things are privy by attorney-client privilege and which things are not. Before they can even look at it, it's illegal for the feds to get any of this information that they look at before the filter team looks at it. The filter team has to look at this and approve. Let me repeat myself again. And approve what's going on. Oh, and by the way, everybody's talking about, Diddy and all this other stuff, and maybe the Kardashians. Kardashians just went off on Trump over this whole thing that's going on in Cali right now. That's what I read on the news this morning. So that's out the window. We'll talk about that later on. Back to this. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. It doesn't matter if he gets a pardon. Something else came up yesterday, and I told all y'all in my comment section what happened yesterday. A lot of y'all didn't want to listen. I'm going to tell you about that too. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he gets a mistrial. None of that stuff matters. I'm going to tell y'all why. The only way Diddy gets out of this is if he's found not guilty by every single juror on all charges. And he still won't get out of this. Because I'm going to tell y'all why. But let's get back to this. On the ground, it says that Diddy has refused to comply. And then it blacks it out. That little 3rd line, y'all see. 4th line, y'all see. This little blacked out part in the 4th line. It says, on the grounds, the message on the second device, which we'll call device number 2, that alerted the case team to the existence of device number 1. So they're basically saying that his second cell phone, whatever was on his second cell phone, made them aware of whatever was on the first cell phone, right? Now, Diddy is saying that, oh no, that's attorney-client privilege. The government says that's cap. They said he's wrong. They said based on the filter team's review, and the filter team decides all of these things, whether it's privy or not privy, of these messages. So the filter team reviewed it, which are between Diddy and a non-lawyer member of Diddy's staff. Everybody talking about Rico. What's going on with the Rico ticket? The Rico's already been there. It's just a whole bunch of dummies running around here, and that's the problem in this world. You got a bunch of fools running around here with 2 teeth in their mouth talking about, I don't see Rico, man. I don't know if they prove Rico. You a damn fool. That's why you're an idiot. You're pure idiocy, and I think that you like this booty going and stuff. But let me get back to this. It says, based on the filter team's review of these messages, which are between Diddy and a non-lawyer member of Diddy's staff member number 1, Diddy, the defendant, cannot carry his burden to show the messages are privileged. The court should reject any argument that blank, 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 the case team violated attorney-client privilege in relying on these messages. Background number 1. Now, I'm going to tell y'all what happened, in my opinion. It says staff number 1. You guess who that is. Guess who staff member number 1 is. I know who it is, but I'll let you guess in the comment section. You understand what I'm saying? And I think the first and last name got the same letter to start off with. But I'm just going to let you think about that. But let me say this to y'all. Everybody that's listening to this video. She was smart. Her than him. It was said in court that she kept telling him, look, focus on your work, man. When this dude was doing all this crazy stuff. He ain't listening to nobody. Now, you would know. I want y'all to know how stupid this guy is. You would know that after the feds is on your helmet, there ain't no way possible that you still talking on phones. There ain't no way. You still talking on phones. You're going to see right now, she didn't respond to Diddy because she already knew what was up. This is after the feds ran down and raided. She didn't talk to Diddy. She didn't even respond to Diddy on no phone. She's like, a phone? Are you crazy? She's probably thinking like, or he's probably thinking, they raided us, and now you hit me on a phone? Diddy is pure idiocy. I told y'all this, but y'all gonna learn the hard way. Now look at this. It says, background. On March 25th, 2024, approximately 5 months prior to Diddy's arrest, law enforcement executed search warrants on, among other things, Diddy's Miami and Los Angeles residence, a private plane that Diddy was traveling on, and Diddy's person. Now read the bottom part right there. It says, 1, the filter team initially withheld from the case team 2 messages in the text chain as potentially privileged. The defense subsequently asserted privilege over additional parts of the chain, which the case team had relied upon, and it blacks it out right there. But because the court's privilege analysis will likely be informed not only by the messages seen by the case team, but also the messages withheld from the case team as potentially privileged, the filter team, in an abundance of caution, is briefing the privilege issue in order to avoid any potential taint to the case team. Prior to the court ruling on this privilege issue, the filter team respectfully requests that this letter be filed under seal. They got something on his ass. And that the defendant, his counsel, and the filter team be only people who can assess the under seal letter. It goes on. It said the search warrants authorized law enforcement to seize all electronic devices. Pursuant to warrants, law enforcement seized dozens of devices, including all of the electronic devices found on Diddy's person and located in each residence. On September the 16th, 2024, following Diddy's arrest, law enforcement, let me put this on the screen for y'all. Hold on. No, I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm just going to read this. I'm going to put the other one on the screen for y'all. Hold on. Law enforcement executed another search warrant for the hotel room the defendant, Diddy, was occupying. Listen now. I want y'all to listen. Listen very closely to what I just said. On September the 16th, 2024, following Diddy's arrest, law enforcement executed another search warrant for the hotel room Diddy was occupying, seizing all electronic devices in the room. Now, remember I told everybody on this channel 3 days ago that the feds did not take them pictures of them cell phones in Diddy's room for no damn reason? Remember they took those 3 pictures of those iPhones and they put it in the evidence? The feds I'm watching the whole play. I'm watching this whole shit play. And I told all y'all on this channel, I said that picture they took where they had all them cell phones, they ain't take that shit for no reason. They took that shit for reason. And I noticed everything the feds do in this case, they double back and cover it. And that's why I keep trying to tell y'all need to be on y'all's game when y'all listening to this case. You got a bunch of people that's out here just running their mouth. And let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And somebody, Sweet Pea says, shaking my head, reaching. Yeah, reaching for the truth, Janet Jackass. Now sit your ass down with the rest of the monkey crap at the bottom of the barrel. Lying for this bum. Ticket gonna stand on business, honor, dignity, morals, ethic, and respect. Shine did 10 years. What was all the support for Sean Poe? That's what I thought. Sit down and shut your ass up. Let's keep going. See, I can cook you what I want to cook. You ain't gonna say nothing about that, though. What was all this? They ain't doing Shine right, man. Shine was in his prime and had his entire career robbed of him. Where was Diddy at to show love and support Sean? Who did Diddy care about? His goddamn self. Excuse me, Lord, forgive me. Diddy cared about himself. What was all the standing up for Shine and showing love for his own artists? But you know what? The man upstairs has something greater for Shine. Shine's life was on a path of destruction. And in a way, him going to the prison saved his life. He did a bid. He got out of prison. He got deported. He changed his life. And now this man is an official in his own country. He's helping his own country. Shine running around here looking like a low-budget Barack Obama. But shout out to Shine, though. He doing great things and was able to come back into the country respectfully. And, you know, he's an ambassador for his whole country. Think about that. What was all the people that were standing 10 toes for Shine, though? Don't make me cook. I can go deep in the game. I can go deep in this thing. Real deep. They don't want me to do that, though. Stir fry. Anything in my area, nigga. Because that's how I get on. I'm surgical with this thing, nigga. So on that September the 16th, when they went in that hotel and searched Diddy's room, they had a warrant for that search. They took those pictures of those cell phones. And y'all peep game. Right? Law enforcement executed another search warrant for the hotel room that Diddy was occupying, seizing all the electronics devices in the room, including an iPhone 11, device 2. Following device 2 seizure, the iPhone 11, law enforcement extracted device 2 and, consistent with the government's practice in this case, provided a copy of the extraction report to the filter team. The filter team conducted a thorough review of device number 2, following the same protocol. It has applied in its review of all the electronically stored data in this case, segregated materials that may be subject to a claim of privilege, and provided the non-privileged portion of the extraction report to the case team. Device number 2 contained a message chain between Diddy and staff member number 1, which included a string of text messages, audio, picture messages, and Diddy and staff member number 1 exchanged on June the 23rd, 2024, the June the 23rd messages, approximately 3 months after the searches of Diddy's residence, right? He's still on the phones. This nigga don't learn. Nigga, your crib was popped, and you still on the phones. This man probably thought because he had all these phones. Bro, they on all your phones, B. It says that the filter team, right, saw this, right? Now it says that on June the 23rd, those June the 23rd messages, 3 months after the search of Diddy's residences, which we saw in Miami, the raid, on June the 23rd, 2024, at approximately 10:44 a.m., Diddy texts the staff member and said, "Call me back. It's important." Good news, I think. A few minutes later, approximately at 10:47 a.m., Diddy sent staff member number 1 a voice message, an audio recording, telling staff member number 1 that another member of his staff member number 2, had located a cell phone in his residence, and that the device contained information regarding a woman with whom Diddy had previously had a romantic relationship with, who they will call female number 1. During the charged conspiracy, think about this, y'all. Hold on. Now let's go back to this one more time. Now, why is all this important? You need to think about everything that's going on. Think about everything that's going on, y'all. Why is this important, what I'm saying? Think about everything that's going on, y'all. Once again, let me read that line for y'all again. It said a few minutes later, at approximately 10:47 a.m., Diddy sent staff member number 1 a voice note, an audio recording, telling staff member number 1, right, that another member of his staff, which is staff member number 2, had located a cell phone in his residence. Device number 1 is what they're going to call it. And the device contained information regarding a woman with whom Diddy had previously had a romantic relationship with, and they call her female number 1. During the charged conspiracy, specifically, Diddy stated in relevant part the following: "I don't know how in the world, but all of a sudden this phone just came up, we found in the house, and it's the time from when me and whoever female number 1 is," they say female number 1, "went to the thing. So they gotta be so much stuff on the hard drive of the phone." You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna send you a picture of it so you can see and understand, like, this could be a big breakthrough, just because, like, we didn't have the phone, and this phone is just sitting there, and there's just data wise has to be a lot of shit on that phone, and I didn't delete nothing out of that phone. I'm gonna send a picture of it now. Diddy, who was then residing in the Miami residence, sent staff member number 1 photograph of that device, which had been redacted. A full forensic extraction of device number 2 was produced to the defense and the government's second discovery production on October 16, 2024. As with all device extractions collected from the various searches, both the case team and the filter team invited the defense to identify any material over which Diddy intended to assert attorney-client privilege so that the material could be segregated from the case team. But it goes on, you guys. It gets deeper than that. It gets deeper than that, y'all. Oh my God, it gets deeper than that. They blacked out the picture. Matter of fact, it doesn't do justice for me just to tell y'all this. Let me pull this up and let me show y'all. Let me show you. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. I'm going to show you. It doesn't do me justice to tell you how dumb this dude is. See, I'm going to tell y'all something. This dude right here, bro, you could tell that Sean Diddy Combs don't got no common sense. You could tell that this dude was on probably so much stuff that he didn't even know what he was doing. But after you get rated, you still on phones. They showed the picture, you guys. They showed the picture right there as you see it on your screen. But they blacked out what was the messages on that phone because they're going to show it in court what was on the other phone. And I'm finna tell y'all, as I read the rest of this right here, I'm finna tell y'all what I think happened. Tell you guys what I think happened. See, you always have to try to outthink the opponent. In this case, Diddy's opponent was the federal government. Diddy, the worst thing he did was continue to talk on phones. Worst thing he did. I believe, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I believe that the government did not make a mistake. When the government went to raid that house, I believe the government strategically left one of those phones. And I believe Diddy held on to that phone. Let me repeat myself again. I believe that the government, when they did their raid, strategically left one of those phones to see what Diddy was going to do. And this, I believe, this man took the bait hook, line, and sinker. I believe that it's going to be shown that Diddy, when he saw, damn, they didn't get this phone, the first thing he did was go to them messages. Major mistake. They're saying the first thing Diddy did was write staff member number 1, who was not an attorney, which means that that information that he wrote in that message is not attorney-client privilege information. I truly believe that Diddy made a huge mistake that's going to cost him in the end. As you read on the paper, staff member number 1 was not as stupid as Diddy. Because read what it says right there underneath that blanked out photo. Exhibit A 2, staff member number 1 did not respond. Staff member number 1, did not respond. Staff member number 1 was smart and probably told Diddy, what the hell in person are you doing talking on a phone after you got raided? When the feds coming at home, they tearing that house up and they getting everything they want. Anything that the feds did not get, there ain't no way on earth. There ain't no way you suppose that stuff's supposed to be, bro. That's supposed to, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, bro. He's supposed to throw that in the furnace. Any other electronics was supposed to be up in smoke. Staff member number 1 did not respond to those messages from Diddy. Approximately 6 hours later, around 5:27 p.m., you can read with me from line 1, Diddy sent a text message to staff member number 1 and said, hey, are you okay? Just let me know you safe. 2 minutes later, approximately 5:29 p.m., Diddy sent another text, asking staff member number 1 to have his lawyer, who's cross-examining Jane Doe right now, Mrs. Tenny Garagos, to call him. And I quote, I have a 911. Need Tenny to call this phone ASAP. All caps, important. An hour and a half later, approximately 7:08 p.m., Diddy. Now remember, y'all, staff member number 1 is not responding to any of this nigga's messages. None of them. Now that could be for 2 reasons. Because she was just smart and didn't want to answer the phones, or because the feds had her phone. Let's keep going. An hour and a half later, at approximately 7:08 p.m., Diddy text staff member number 1 again and said, send me Tenny's number. It's important. She needs to know now. I can't play these games right now. I need to speak to my lawyer. And I don't have the number. Just send me the number, please. Like, I can't even understand why you're not sending my lawyer number. And I'm telling you, I have something majorly important that I have to speak with my lawyer about. The Diddyites are getting nervous. It's hard to keep covering for such buffoonery and such sloppiness. A minute later, at approximately 7:09 p.m., guess what? The feds did not have staff member number 1's phone number. Staff member number 1 was smarter than Diddy, dumb ass. Staff member number 1 didn't want to talk on the phone. And Diddy should have took that clue. But he ain't got no brains. A minute later, at approximately 7:09 p.m., staff member number 1 responded by sending Diddy his lawyer, Tenny Gregoros' phone number. Diddy responded with the prayer hand emojis. During a screening review of the June 23rd messages, filter team identified the 5:29 p.m., 7:08 p.m. messages where Diddy references Mrs. Tenny Garagos as potentially privileged. The filter team then redacted those messages and released the remaining messages to the case team. The redacted June the 23rd messages. After the case team reviewed the redacted June 23rd messages, the case team, and it blanked it out, demanding production of device number 1. Based on the filter team's conversations with Diddy's counsel, the filter team understands that Diddy is claiming that all of the June 23rd messages, i.e., from call me back at 10:44 a.m. through the prayer hand emojis, are protected by attorney-client privilege. Specifically, Diddy claims the messages are protected by both defendant's personal attorney-client privilege, that is, the attorney-client relationship between the defendant. But it goes on. At the bottom it says, due to a technical issue, the prayer hands emoji is visible in certain renderings from the Celebrite report for device 2, but not in the PDF that is Exhibit A. But let's skip to page 7. From or through staff number 1, either for himself or for his companies, as Diddy must show to sustain his claim. And it says, Adelman 68 F3D at $14.99. Smash the like button, share, and subscribe. Reading from the beginning of the day to the end, the June 23rd messages make clear what happened on June the 23rd, 2024. Diddy was surprised to learn that staff member number 2 had discovered device number 1 in his home. Let's stop right there on the 4th line. Let's stop right there. They got this dude. Hook, line, and sinker, bro. Hook, line, and sinker, bro. Shout out to Martha Carter with the $22 donation and a PayPal. Salute to you, my sister. Ladies and gentlemen that's listening to this video, pure idiocy by Diddy. Somebody else found that phone in his home. And this fool, you think the feds who did thorough raid of your home just left a phone on purpose? On accident? You really think that? And after the feds left, Diddy was still not at home because remember, Diddy was about to get on a plane. So somebody in that home found that phone and said, yo, call Diddy. Hey, Diddy, they didn't get a phone, bro. They missed the phone. Lord have mercy, bro. And this fool, Diddy, after the raid, you have to know that these people don't already went to a judge and got him to sign off to search your homes. Staff member number 1 ignoring your messages should have let you know that something wasn't right. This man ain't had no brains. He kept pushing the issue. Because he probably didn't know. I ain't going to say that. I'm going to save that for later. Let's get to this. Diddy was surprised to learn, and I'm on line 4, y'all, staff member number 2 had discovered device number 1 in his home. He reached out to his confidant and personal assistant, staff member number 1, to tell staff member number 1 what he had learned, but he was not soliciting staff member number one's advice on what to do. Asking staff member number one for additional information to put his discovery in context, or asking staff member number one to tell his lawyer what had happened on his behalf. He did not ask staff member number one in any way to communicate the substance of device one's discovery to his lawyer. Instead, second paragraph, y'all, instead, hours after sending audio message and photo of device one to staff member number one, Diddy asked staff member number one to have his lawyer reach out to him and later provide him with his lawyer's phone number. Diddy merely said he needed to talk to his lawyer about something important. He did not say that what that important thing was. He did not expressly link it to the discovery of device number one. But even assuming, arguendo, that what was important was device number one, all he asked staff member number one to do was put him in touch with his lawyer, which staff number one did when staff member number one provided Diddy with Tenny Garagos' phone number. Paragraph number 3, that the June 23rd messages were not sent for the purpose of seeking legal advice can be illustrated through two counterfactuals. First, imagine that the defendant never told staff member number one about device number one, but merely asked staff member number one to have his lawyer, Tenny Gregoros, call him or provide him with her number to discuss this important matter. Nothing would have changed about the purpose of Diddy's interactions with staff member number one. That is, staff member number one could have connected Diddy and Mrs. Garagos. Holding no privilege applied to communications between client and public relations firm, as client had not shown public relations firm involvement was necessary to facilitate communication between himself and counsel. As in the case of a translator or an accountant clarifying communications between an attorney and client, indeed, the Second Circuit noticed this very point in dicta in Mejia. Nothing prevented Diddy there from telling his sister that he had an important message to relay to his attorney without specifying its content. Mejia 655 F3D at 134. That was a different case right there. It says, second, imagine that Diddy had told staff member number one about device number one, but never followed up with a request to speak with his lawyer, Mrs. Gregoros. That is, case team's understanding from the redacted June 23rd messages. Again, nothing about the nature of the communications regarding device number one would have been necessary to solicit legal advice on the behalf of the defendant or his companies. Staff member number one had nothing to offer on that score. She's simply the defendant's personal assistant, and she was not present when the device was found. The defendant's decision to inform staff member number one of facts as they unfolded does not make those communications privileged, even if it was obvious to both the defendant and staff member number one that the defendant needed to talk to his lawyer. This nigga's toast. And just to put the cherry on top, because I know that's what y'all like, just to put that cherry on top of this thing, Diddy's legal team is now fighting, trying to keep other text messages out of court. In these text messages, Diddy's legal team wrote the judge, and they said to the judge, "Dear Judge Submaranian and Chambers, please see attached what is marked as exhibit or evidence GX8905A, which the government intends to move to admit after Mia's testimony." Now remember, all of these dudes came on YouTube and said, "Mia's a liar, you're a liar, she's a liar." Know your role and shut your mouth, jabroni. Know your role and shut your damn mouth. It says, please see attached what is marked as Exhibit GXA905A, which the government intends to move to admit after Mia's testimony. This message between Damian Butler, aka D-Rock, and Diddy, Sean Combs, in which Mr. Combs directs D-Rock, among other things, to have Cassie ice her eye and quote unquote stay on top of Cassie, and ask why is Cassie not in hiding, is admissible on numerous bases. First, Mr. Combs' statements are admissible as a party opponent statements, and D-Rock's statements are admissible to contextualize the defendant's statements. It goes on. Says a whole bunch of stuff right there. I don't even want to read. Right? It says these statements, I'm going down to the second paragraph at the bottom. These statements are also highly probative as they directly relate to Cassie's testimony that around this same date, she received messages from D-Rock about ice in her face after Diddy physically assaulted her in Vegas. They are also not unfairly prejudicial. Now keep going, y'all. Next paragraph. The defense has informed the government that it intends to object to the admission of this evidence on quote unquote hearsay grounds and hearsay within hearsay, as well as under 403, for the reasons outlined in our 52125 is regarding similar as evidence GXA 639A, which the court excluded. The government also notes that there is no hearsay within hearsay, as the government is not offering the underlying statements for their truth. To the contrary, certain of these statements were in fact not truthful, but told to cover up Sean Diddy Combs' abuse. What are we saying, Ticket? What's going on? What is going on is everybody called me a liar. The government has evidence of Mia telling the truth, especially in this part of her testimony. Diddy's lawyers don't want these text messages to D-Rock to be entered into evidence because those text messages will corroborate Mia's story. And everybody who talk about Mia like a dog, because maybe she's not averse to speaking in front of people. Maybe she's nervous. Maybe she just froze up under the pressure. They demonized her. Says she's lying. The B is lying, all of them lying. But as y'all know, as this case goes along, and as that evidence stacks up, boy, it's going to be very, very, very bad. And let me say this. Let me say this, because I have more news for y'all that I'm going to give y'all right now. Let me say this to everybody that's watching this video. I told you yesterday what's going on with the feds. I told you guys that the feds I told you guys that the feds knew what they were doing when they did what they did. The feds did not bring all the charges they could against Diddy. Yesterday, it was mentioned online how the feds, if they wanted, they could come up with charges of federal drug trafficking. But the problem is that they would have to give all-out full immunity to Jane Doe and to others in this case who have testified to buying drugs, transporting drugs, and moving drugs to Sean Diddy Combs. Shout out to Jen Just Law. I want to salute Jen Just Law because they brought this to the table. And I'm going to show you. And I told you guys that I believe the DOJ, the Department of Justice, I believe all these people held back on Diddy because of the current situation with Donald J. Trump being in the White House and not knowing if he was going to pardon him. But I'm going to show you guys today. I want to show you guys. So, Jen Just Law, and salute to them, they put out this information. The information they put out, it states drug courier legal risk. Yesterday, the Jane Doe admitted, and in her testimony, she admitted to Jane Doe that she knowingly transported drugs for Diddy and sought instructions from his staff. Even if coerced, that makes her a material witness to federal drug trafficking. If the Department of Justice pursues charges, her testimony could cut both ways. Evidence against Diddy, but also self-incriminating, unless she gets immunity. If the Department of Justice steps in, and if the Department of Justice opens a federal drug trafficking case, Jane Doe's testimony becomes Exhibit A, but also potentially toxic to the prosecution because her admission to moving drugs under Diddy's direction helps establish conspiracy. But if she's charged too, she becomes a co-conspirator, not just a victim, forcing the prosecution to either grant her immunity or risk undermining their own witness. And that is said the same for the other two staff members that have themselves admitted that they purchased drugs and transported drugs for Sean Diddy Combs under oath. It was major. And I'm going to tell y'all what the feds did that everybody missed. I didn't miss it because I don't miss shit. The feds had to get these people. They wanted to get them in a court of law, under oath, under the penalty of perjury. George Kaplan, David James, multiple other people in this case. Cassie Ventura, if I'm not mistaken. Brianna Bonglong, the girl that Nappy Head was sitting up there after she got on the stand, started crying herself in her lawsuit that she lost. She tried to get at her and y'all was hooting and hollering like y'all was Arsenio Hall, like she did something. She ain't do nothing. Because that woman also testified about her selling drugs, delivering drugs to Diddy. Now what the feds have done is they have built a whole new case on Diddy. Everybody was asking, well, they found drugs in the house. They found guns. Why didn't they hit them with federal gun and drug charges? They're going to do that. Just not in this case. The feds were smarter than what you think. The feds didn't hit Diddy with everything they could in this case. Because what happens is the feds hit Diddy with everything. And once again, there's a man. You must do your research. You must be smart as I am to understand what the hell is going on. You have to be smart. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a man. And his name, ladies and gentlemen, is Damian Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, Damian Williams is 45 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, Damian Williams, this man, and I'm finna show y'all something that nobody else is showing y'all. So make sure y'all pay attention, because class is in session. Damian Williams, who's now 45 years old, was the one who led this indictment against Sean Diddy Combs. But Damian Williams, he was smart. Now, for you guys who don't know who Damian Williams is, I'm going to show you right now. You're going to understand everything right now, ladies and gentlemen. Damian Williams, the man on your screen right there that I'm about to show you. Damian Williams, ladies and gentlemen, he was appointed as the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Read the bottom of your screen. He was appointed by former President of the United States, Joe Biden. But what people forgot is something happened. Once he brought on this case, and he was going to bring this whole thing home against Diddy. Hard body. But once Trump got elected, he did something. He left him with one last parting gift, and that's his buddies over at the Southern District of New York. All the people that he felt like had worked hard on this case with Sean Combs in such a limited time. What he did was he quit. He quit. He resigned. If you remember this article, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, who prosecuted Sean Combs and Senator Robert Mendez, announced that he would step down next month. He resigned. He was appointed by Joe Biden and didn't want to go down with the Trump administration. He didn't want to go be down with them. So what he didn't do was, they didn't go deep because they knew that Trump could come in with one sweeping blow, and that Donald J. Trump, if Diddy was found guilty, could come and eliminate all that work they did in one swoop. So what did he do? Damian Williams didn't put the whole meal on the table. Damian Williams and these people did not put everything they put or could put up Diddy. They left it off. Because in case Trump came with a pardon, because a president can pardon any individual as many times as he wants as long as he's in office. But what a president can't do is a preemptive pardon, which means you pardon a person before they're charged with certain crimes. All they're going to do is If anything happens with Trump before he leaves office, gives Diddy a pardon, all they're gonna do is go back and all the other things that the feds held in their pocket against Diddy. They're gonna come back and hit that nigga full blow with the next administration. That is why Damian Williams did not come forward with all the information they had against Diddy and charge him. Because if they would have charged Diddy for all of those things in one, and for one way or another, Diddy would have been found not guilty, or Trump would have pardoned Diddy, they would not have been able to come back and get him on any of those same charges. So what he did was, and to the person who said Biden preemptively pardoned his son, no, he didn't. Biden did not preemptively pardon his son. His son had already been convicted. A preemptive pardon is a pardon to a person who has not been convicted of a crime, who has not been charged with a crime. Hunter Biden, guilty ass. And that was disgraceful and disgusting what Joe Biden did. He had already been found guilty. So you're wrong, ma'am. When you come in here with the big ticket, get your facts straight, or I will cook. But that is exactly what happened, ma'am. But what Trump can't do is, he cannot pardon you for crimes that they have not charged you with. So in comes, if all goes wrong, the parting gift that Damian Williams left Southern District of New York and all of his buddies at the Southern District of New York. He left them an out in case Trump pardoned Sean Diddy Combs for these cases. Because everybody was asking, all that evidence they found in the house, and this all they got? No, this is not all they got. They ready for round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. The feds had a hard on for Diddy. And everybody that thinks this is it with Diddy, you people ain't smart. You dumber than you are smart. To all the people who say, I don't see no crimes. I don't see any crimes. You're an idiot. People are in open court admitting that they transferred, bought illegal drugs, had doctors who will be brought up, make illegal prescriptions that'll expose a lot of things. You guys are stupid as hell. They've got at least, and this is what the feds wanted to do, 5 or 6 people under oath, in this case, admit that they delivered, bought, transported illegal drugs on behalf of Sean Diddy Combs. That is criminal conspiracy, and across state lines, that is a federal crime. They didn't bring that on Diddy. They easily could have brought that on Diddy. They didn't do it because they didn't want Damian Williams, who had been appointed by Joe Biden, did not want and represents the Democratic Party. He didn't want Trump to come in. Trump was in a rage after Joe Biden freed his son, Hunter Biden, which was disgusting what Joe Biden did. Your son did the crime, let his ass sit in there and do the time like you let all those other people do. He gave his son a pass when his son was found guilty in a court of law. Damian Williams knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. If Joe Biden was the president of the United States of America, the feds would have hit Diddy with the entire full arsenal on one swoop. Because there was no way Biden was giving him a pardon when the person he selected prosecuted Diddy. Let me repeat myself again. There was no way that Biden was going to give Diddy a pardon and go against the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York that he appointed. He was going to come at Diddy with the full blow. That's why everybody was surprised when they saw the indictment and said, man, this indictment looks small. Damian Williams was smart. He saw the election results and he knew Trump was on a warpath and said, man, from what they did with what they did with Hunter Biden, Trump gonna come out here and set it off. And you seen Trump giving these pardons. So, to the lady who said, so you wouldn't give your child a pass ticket? No. And like my father always told me, if you do the crime, your ass gonna do the time. See, that's your problem, ma'am. And that's the reason why these youth are ended up becoming murderers, robbers, thieves, and spending the rest of their life in prison. Because, ma'am, you can't spare the rod of correction, baby. When I was younger, I hated my father for giving me spankings all the time, being hard, strict on me. But when I got older, I thanked him because it made me a smarter and a better man and saved my life. And it made me have some common sense that he didn't give me a pass for my bullshit. He was on it. Every time I thought I was going to get a pass, ticket ain't get no pass. That man was on that shit like a military trained soldier. You understand what I'm saying to you, ma'am? See, mentalities like yours, when you're willing to give your own son a pass, and you're the president of the United States of America, how can people look at you and respect you as being a fair and just man? Think about what I said. Think about what I said to you. So regardless of whatever type of punishment that nowadays you may give, you never allow them to get away with that foolishness. Because when the parent allows the child to get away with the foolishness, their mindset doesn't think that the police, the feds, and all these other people are going to allow them to get away with the foolishness. And that is a classic example of what happened with this clown on your screen. You can see that his parents allowed him, his mother, his father wasn't there, to get away with all this foolishness, and he grew up watching it. So you think you can get away with all this stupidity until one day you can't. You can't. You can't. These are all facts. And to the person who says, you know, you will pardon your son, I would never pardon my son if he committed a crime. And I'm a leader of men. Because to be a leader of men, you have to be a leader of all men, not just some. There cannot be special treatment when you're a leader. Nobody will respect you as a leader. And when you take that oath to become a leader, you have to lead fairly and justly in front of all the people. These are facts. And when you guys show me that you say, oh, but that's your son, you show me that you cannot lead. Because if you cannot hold everyone to the same standard, you don't have leadership qualities. You're not a leader. You're not a leader. Those are facts. I'm going to tell you something. My father he would tell me when I was younger, if you don't want to listen in this house, son, you can leave. And I'm always like, man, you ain't finna kick me out, nigga. I'm your son, nigga. You think you gonna kick me out, nigga? You ain't finna kick me out, nigga. I'm your son, nigga. That nigga was serious. That man was serious. He was like, oh, you think I'm playing? He said, I told you stop disrespecting your mother, bro. Talking back to your mother, disrespecting your mother. I told you go leave. Go ahead. You go leave. You're not gonna be in this house doing that. And that's the problem we have in this world right now, is a lot of parents are giving these youth a pass on foolishness. And what it does is it grows, it builds, and then they start thinking they can get a pass in real life, and that ain't how it goes. That ain't how it go. So no, you don't get no pass. When you a leader, everybody got to get that same smoke. Now, if you're not a leader, and if you're not in a position of leadership, of course you're going to have a different mindset. But when you are a leader, and you're supposed to be equal, and you're supposed to serve the people, you cannot just serve yourself and your own personal pleasures or desires. It's not how it goes. And that is the problem. So now, I told y'all, they outsmarted them. Everybody keeps saying, oh, Tigger, why you not worried about the jury? I don't worry about the jury. If it's a hung jury, Diddy doesn't walk free. Diddy did not get bail before. The only way Diddy would have walked free is if Diddy was found not guilty. The only way Diddy would have been able to not be in jail all this time is if he had already previously made bail, which he was denied 3 times. So if he gets a mistrial, it hurts Diddy, because all he does is, and Diddy, I don't even think Diddy know this. The only person that a mistrial helps is the government and Diddy's lawyers. Of course, Diddy's lawyers want a mistrial, because that gives them more money, Lebowski. That gives them way more time on the case to drain all this nigga's money. Because if Diddy gets a mistrial, all that happens is we run it back. Diddy could be in jail for 5, 6 years if he gets a mistrial, waiting on a new case, on a new date. And when he comes back, the government can have 10, 12, 13 more charges on this nigga. That's the part people don't understand. And that whole time, he gonna be paying all these lawyer fees. Meanwhile, if the case, so the lawyers, they would hate for that case to end in 3 or 4 weeks. Their money ends. Of course, their lawyer's gonna fight for a mistrial. That's gonna keep their money going for at least another year, year and a half, until the next trial starts. And at the end of the day, Diddy's lawyers are going to go eat dinner and go have fun with the prosecution after the case is over with. Whether you like it or not, they all know each other. When you're in court doing these cases against each other all the time, people got to understand one thing. You know these people like brothers and sisters. A lot of these people went to school together. A lot of these people have came up together in the Southern District of New York. They know each other. They see each other all the time in certain cases. Hey, what's up, Jen? How you doing, Shelly? Let's go. We're going to get something to eat after this. They arguing over your life, but they going to get something to eat later on or after the case or in their free time. They know each other. That's the part people don't understand. That's the part people don't understand. So when you see this type of stuff, and I'm just telling y'all this, that's why I never, ever, ever stress myself out over politics. People out here taking each other's lives over politics. Meanwhile, Y'all seen what happened at the funeral a couple months ago. Obama and Trump sitting over there smiling, laughing, and dapping up. Yo, what's up, dog? You good? You all right, man? Obama and Bush kicking it like they homies. What's up, dog? You good, man? Yeah, I'm chilling, man. They get out here in front of the world under debate. They tearing each other head off. They out here in the background chilling. You got to see this stuff. Man, you watch what I tell you. So before Trump goes out of office, if he hits Diddy with a pardon, they're going to come back with him full blow. They've already got these people testimonies under oath. And now they've got multiple people that have talked about this, and they still may double back to that. Even if he gets convicted, they still may double back to that just to close more cases and make themselves look better. Y'all got to understand this, how this works. So here's an example. If they can tie other people in, they may want to get involved and close these cases. Because I'm going to tell y'all something, man. I don't think the feds is finished, bro. I'm be honest with y'all. I'm not stupid, man. I'm not stupid. And everybody wants to know, Ticket, why do you think like this? Because the part about me, a lot of people just think, oh, Ticket, just watch basketball. When you play basketball like I have for all these years, you got so much free time to just watch stuff. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to put y'all all on the game. There's a channel on YouTube. It's called the FBI Files. I suggest you go watch that. Subscribe to that channel, the FBI Files. If you're subscribed to that channel, press 1 in the comment section. They put up content all the time showing you about how the feds investigate, federal investigations. They put this stuff out there in the public. People don't watch this stuff, man. They literally don't watch this stuff. They literally don't. I'm going to show you a video I was watching last night. I literally, like, when I have free time, I'm just watching this stuff like, damn, like, this is all the things they doing. And I'm going to show y'all this. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to show y'all what I was watching. I'm going to keep it 1,000% Triller on this channel. I'm going to show y'all something. And a lot of people are going to go subscribe to this. They almost got 1 million subscribers too. But a lot of people are going to go subscribe to this channel. But I'm going to show y'all this. Right? And I always watch it. I was watching one, and I'm going to show you. It's going to show you exactly where I stopped last night. I was up to like 4 o'clock in the morning watching this. Last night. 4 o'clock in the morning. Let me show y'all. And you can go watch this. It has so many videos, so much content on how these people do investigations, how they setting people up, how they doing all this stuff. There it is right there. The FBI Files. They literally have a YouTube channel showing y'all how they do these undercover stings, how they've gotten dirty cops, all of these things. So once you watch all these types of shows, you get into the mind of how they operate. They putting it out here for y'all. The information is right there. So when you see this, you're like, damn. For example, I was watching this. I got to the 1 hour, 8 minute mark and 17 seconds in this particular video, right? It's court today, but it's later on today. I looked at this, y'all, and I'm finna tell everybody watching this, right? If y'all think the feds is playing, watch how they do investigations. Watch how they do these investigations. Bro, the feds will have somebody in deep. That's why I told y'all, I got hunches they left that phone just so that they could monitor Diddy and see how he reacted to it. If they want to get everything, man, they got everything out that house, bro. You got to watch this stuff, y'all. So this one went back, and in this particular story I was watching today, or last night I should say, or this morning I should say, these cops in Miami, what they were doing was they were dirty cops. These cops were they actually got into a business of pulling over, or they had a dude who was basically dealing, right? So he was dealing, and he put them on to some of the people that was selling, right? So what the cops was doing was, what the cops was doing was, they were pulling over these people, right? And he told the cops, he's like, look, so this dude, he got caught. So he gave some cops a ultimatum. Now, let me tell you this. These cops are only making $30,000 a year at that time. This is in 1986. So what he did was, he gave the cops he was like, look, man, y'all got me, but I'll put y'all on to where y'all be getting money for a long time. So what I'm going to do is, I'll put you on to contacts and people I know that's going to have drugs on them. So all you got to do is run down. I'm going to tell you, go follow them, run down on them, pop them for their drugs, take their drugs up off of them. You bring them back to me. I'll sell it and split revenue with you. And that's what the cops were doing. And it started out being like 2 or 3 cops in Miami. Biggest drug bust ever in Miami. Undercover sting. Not drug bust, but undercover sting. And what happened is that, so now it started out being 3 cops. Then it had to get bigger. It ended up being like 100-something cops. And what they were doing is, they were jacking all these people up who had drugs on them, taking their drugs, giving it back to this main guy. He was selling it, flipping it, and going back and splitting it with the cops. Meanwhile, the cops was putting all this money. They were buying new cars, new homes, putting this money inside of safety security boxes in banks. What happened? The feds got involved. There was a snitch, and the feds got involved. And what did the feds do? The feds sent an undercover. They sent an undercover to get one of these cops to admit what was going on, accidentally, on a wire. So they ended up getting 7 cops, or 10 cops, I believe, tied up in their original case. Went to court, and guess what happened, y'all? Now remember, those cops got a bail. So what happened was, they went to court, and this is what happened, y'all. They went to court, and when they went to court, it was a mistrial. 11 jurors voted guilty based on all the evidence. 1 juror voted not guilty. So they let the cops out until they could bring the case back, right? So when the feds basically had the mistrial, they had to let the cops out because they had already previously had bail until they got another court date. Well, 2 of the cops left Miami. 1 of the cops stayed, and you know, the feds just kept going hard at this case, right, to try to bring the case. One of the cops left the country and went to the Bahamas. The feds went, they got more evidence. They went and got a dude that snitched, that was a hitman that snitched on all these cops, because the cops went and got a hitman to go take out all of the witnesses, right, after the mistrial. But the feds, they were determined. And so what the feds did is they went and they found the hitman, and they gave the hitman a deal. He got a years off his deal to testify against them. And then what happened was, this dude went to a country, one of them went to a country, the Bahamas, that didn't have an extradition thing at that time. But what the feds did was, people don't know, in every country they have a link pretty much. So what they did was, they used that link, and it says all of this in this story. That's how you learn all of this shit. They used their link to go over to the Bahamas, to the police department, and to the government over in the Bahamas, and get those people to help them locate this officer that had moved outside the country. And they helped him locate him, brought his ass back to the States, and he did 25 years. All of this is in the story. And then they did a major undercover sting where they had a guy go deep cover. Deep cover. That's why I be trying to tell y'all, man, like, when y'all think the feds is playing, bro, the feds be playing the long game too with you. Bro, they went to court. The feds went to trial with John Gotti 4 times. John Gotti was like, after the first time, bro, you beat the Fed case like John Gotti. They went back and pulled Gotti again. Gotti beat him. Gotti was again. Went back, pulled him back a third time. Oh, again? They went back and they got him for sure on the fourth time. So people thinking that they was, oh, this is it with Diddy. Man, them people got shit lined up for Diddy, bro. And now that they got 5 people, 6 people under oath admitting that they was buying drugs from doctors. Now they're gonna have those doctors come up there and admit that they gave those drugs and sold drugs to these people. Bro, it's over with. That's a drug conspiracy right there. That's a Department of Justice federal drug conspiracy where you're trafficking and transporting drugs. People don't understand this. That's why I be trying to tell people. These niggas think them people got a hard on for Diddy, bro. Trust me. And the fact that what Diddy said about Trump made all the Trump people mad. What Diddy said about Trump made all the Trump people mad. Diddy said that Trump should be eradicated. That's what he said. This is after Trump has said that Diddy is a good friend of his a long time ago. Then you did that? You're Diddy and you did that? Nah. Diddy turned his back on Trump. Trump was cool with Diddy. I got audio, video, and everything of Trump praising Diddy back in the day.
Trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Is
he a good guy?
You heard that? Let me play that for y'all again. This is what Trump was saying back on his game show about Diddy before he even ran for president.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Is
he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I would stick up for him.
Working for Diddy for 6 years.
Now, that's what Trump said about Diddy back then. That's what he said about Diddy, right? Y'all listen to what I'm saying now. Listen to what I'm saying now. Because then you had Diddy. He messed up. He came out. He messed up. Right? Now, I'm finna show you what Diddy said. Because what Diddy did was, he messed up big time. He messed up big time. And he did that in an interview with Charlemagne. Remember this? Y'all remember this?
Going on since then, none of us expected. I think this president has done a great job of rattling America. When you move in fear, you don't have any leverage. The way I felt before is the way I still feel. Things have got too serious of a point. Seeing what's going on, white men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous. This man literally threatened the lives of us and our families about going to vote. Stand back.
So, that statement right there, I'm trying to tell y'all. And everybody trying to be loyal to Diddy. Diddy ain't loyal to nobody except for Diddy. He ain't loyal to nobody. And this is after Trump praised him all those years. Said Diddy was a good guy. Think about it. He's loyal to nobody except for himself. Think about it. You remember what Sean said? Remember what Sean Poe said when he was locked up and he did that interview in prison? Remember what he said? Right? You guys, that's messed up, man. That's messed up, man. Our man did a bid and didn't snitch. Think about what I just said. Sean Poe did a bid, a 10-year bid in the middle of his prime, and he didn't snitch. Even though they got separate lawyers, everything, Diddy separated his lawyers and stuff from him, the man ain't snitch. That man was solid. He was solid. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Salute everybody watching this video, man. Appreciate everybody tapping on in. And yeah, it's bad, bro. If they get that phone evidence in, bro, and we find out what was on that phone. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. The way things is going, I believe the judge is gonna allow it in. I'm gone.
All right, you guys, so we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym. Work out, exercise, and do what you got to do to stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.